Hi, everybody. I'm Adam Abbott. Welcome to my channel about mystical being. It's about life through our spiritual selves and different ways that we can help one another and help ourselves to live from our higher power, from our higher source, from our Godhood. And I also will involve current topics that are going on around us because this is what we're faced with in this perception of this world. Like right now, the topic of immigration in America and keeping people out and building walls and what do we do when they're here and all these questions that everybody has really strong opinions about. I just wanted to point out and make sure that everybody knows that a lot of the people that are fleeing from countries in Central and South America are doing so because of the governments that the United States helped put in power over there to support the illegal drug trade. And if the United States also wasn't using the cocaine and crack and heroin and methamphetamines and all the other things that come from these countries where they're having these huge drug wars, and the drug lords are killing the people who are running away to try to come to America for asylum. If we hadn't put those governments in there to begin with, none of these people would be refugees running over here seeking help. So the first thing we need to do as a country is take responsibility, or at least partial responsibility, for the existence of these people that are coming here seeking help. And when it comes to the rest of the issues involved around immigration and building a wall and all of that, yeah, maybe our country can't absorb so many people. So, there has to be a way to, if they are coming here, to process them in a way where they actually can benefit themselves and our whole country. Finding infrastructure, jobs, things that need to be done, that they would be very willing to work and to have a home and a life and stuff like that. I think one of our best solutions would be to go and try to solve the problems in their country that we initially started creating. If you look up and Google activity of our CIA and our government in these countries from the 1970s on, or even before that, you'll see that we did coups and we changed the governments and we put militaristic dictators in power. We did things that we would never do in our own country to these people and to their countries. So it's time to take responsibility for that, accept it that this is our problem, not just their problem, and that we need to handle these refugees with love and kindness and responsibility. Karma is never going to stop coming back on us if we don't do this. I mean, we have to go way back to when we started the country and made treaties with the native peoples here, and then broke the treaties, and then made another one, and then broke it. Every time we broke it, we slaughtered them and we took away their homes. We made them homeless in their own wilderness that they were used to being in. Most of these people never claimed land and territory the way white man does. Their property lines and their surveyors and their deeds and ownership. And we came over here and just completely overpopulated the place and kept breaking one word after another. So that's how our country was founded. And forget about the slavery that we used to in the South, and the slave labor going on everywhere else, indentured servants for paying for their travel over here. The Chinese that were building the railroad, it just goes on and on, the karma that our country creates around the world, putting the governments in Cambodia and Laos that killed millions and millions of people, Eisenhower's unnecessary moves to drop the atom bomb, a so-called Democrat president, that was also put there by mob bosses during the re-election of Roosevelt, who was very sick and didn't want him as his vice president. They forced that guy into the vice presidency, knowing Roosevelt would die, and then they would have their Republican sheep in, wolf in sheep's clothing as a Democrat in office, who could commit more mass murder than any other president in the world, than any other leader in the world. If you add up Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, North Korea, the dropping of the bombs on Japan that was already negotiating a surrender at the time. Our country has created a huge amount of bad karma for itself. And until we Americans start really assuming responsibility for that, and we've done it to our own people too. We've killed whole towns of black people during the 50s and 60s before civil rights legislation came in. We didn't want it. This is after they were given equal rights, and we didn't want them to have it or exercise it. And just the germ warfare going on in our country, the purposeful spreading of HIV to gay doctors in New York and San Francisco in the 70s, and hepatitis B vaccine so that we could all get infected and die off because they had just taken homosexuality off of the medical list of mental illness. And Nixon and other presidents back then were afraid of the hippies and didn't like the homosexuals. And of course, they didn't like black people, so they cooperated with the World Health Organization, a British organization, to deal with their problem in South Africa, the apartheid with the black people, and they vaccinated all of them with tainted smallpox vaccines, using 400 Haitian volunteers who also received the vaccines of tainted smallpox vaccine, tainted with HIV, and went back, and hence the spread of AIDS in Haiti. And then to go on a villainous campaign of vilifying all of us that got the HIV, and to make it even harder and worse on us as we're fighting this disease that destroys your immune system, and you begin to die in different ways that they knew would not be detected. The cause of it would not be detected for at least 10 years until they could spread it to all the communities where they wanted to spread it. The CIA documentation for this is there. I don't know if the Freedom of Information Act will release it yet, because it was done in the 70s. All this planning when George Bush Sr. was the head of the CIA, and whoever in England was the head of the World Health Organization. They all work together. So our government not only does meddling in other countries causing millions and billions of deaths, we do it in our own country to our own people as well. And I'm sure you have other examples of things that we have done, forced castration and gender changing of homosexuals in the military, just testing on people, germ warfare in the military, or exposure to radiation. This can't go on. Our current government is just as corrupt. The senators and Congress people are not fixing little things that end up costing us billions and endangering our health care and our lives. There's plenty of money for health care in this country, plenty of money for everyone to be treated really, really well and not be sick. And it's not getting it's not getting done right because Congress wants the drug companies to take all the money away from Medicare. They won't let Medicare negotiate prices, so Medicare is overpaying for every single drug, sometimes 10 times, 20 times the amount that everybody else and all the other insurance companies are paying, because of one little phrase they put in their Part D legislation in 2006 during a Republican presidency and Congress. They put Medicare cannot negotiate drugs. And then when Obama and the Democrats got in power, they knew about it. They knew everybody was lining their pockets with pharmaceutical money, and they left it that way. They didn't change it. So stop taking sides and fighting right against left, and realize that our government is really sick and ill right now, and they're doing things to hurt Americans to the point where these acts are actually treasonous. They are traitors against the American people. Anybody that's been in Congress for a number of years is a traitor, because they have not gone and done these simple bipartisan acts that will save billions of dollars and allow fair negotiation of drug price. That's just one example. Yeah, they can fight back and forth on issues that are right and left, but everybody wants Medicare to be properly run so that we don't overspend the money and there's money available for those that come into the system that are paying into the system. And so it's a very easy bipartisan rule to pass. Medicare can now negotiate drug prices like everybody else. They can pay $8 for my Synthroid instead of paying $60 and charging me a $20 copayment. They're actually killing Americans, and they know it, so that they can get their little $1 million lobbying jobs with the pharmaceutical companies directly as they get out of Congress or the Senate. These senators and Congress people, they get all huffy puffy and fight for their causes to keep benefiting corporate America at the cost of taxpayers, taking away our right for free market negotiations. They are traitors against America. They are committing treason every single day, all of them, both sides. The new ones that come in might not know it yet, but very shortly they will be tainted with the special interest money. So we've got to take the money out of politics, and we've got to get we have to cry out to, why are things being done like this? We've got to call, we've got to write letters, and do the metaphysical work on it. So so just remember, when it comes to the immigration issue, to have a heart, understand that we created this, and together we can heal it. Okay, together we can stop this and make a better world for all of us. And once we do that healing and correction within us, all that bad stuff goes away. So you don't have to be bitter. You don't have to have anger and resentment about horrible things that happened in the past, because they will never have happened once we all truly do our final correction. Awareness of our higher self and why we're here. Love you, everybody. Have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Bye.